All right. Okay. Hope you guys are all right in isolation. Um, some of you might have seen a clip that Duncan posted yesterday, which was talking about how he goes through some of his ideas from a very sort of low level, from just hearing stuff in his head, sticking it on an acoustic guitar, and then I watched this video yesterday, and there was one bit which one little riff which was like, oh fucking hell, that's incredible. I can definitely do something around this. Now, normally when the big heads write, we Duncan's done pretty much everything on this song in terms of he's got the structure, he's got the words a lot of the time already. And what we do is like the added bits on top, like so we'll do overdubs on the guitars, and then Karen will obviously go and take the MIDI drums off and do something herself. We've never really done it before we've where more than one person has been involved from the very start of writing a song. So when I saw what Duncan did yesterday, one of his ideas was like, right, I need to get involved now, because Duncan's a very prolific songwriter, and so what you'll find is you'll hear a basic idea like that, and you've got no idea where it's going to actually end up, because he can take something down a very sort of dark, macabre route with very little guitars. It'll have haunting harmonies throughout, or it can actually go down the more rocky routes, which is other ones which I tend to get a bit more involved in. And I heard this, and it's like, that's not going down the dark route. I've got an idea. So we thought, right, what better way to actually try and write a song together while we're in isolation. So I thought I would talk you through what I do and when I hear a song like a song idea like that, and build upon it, and then maybe at the end of all this we'll actually uh, have a track that'll appear on a future album. So, if you didn't see it, the song which I was talking about, if I go into Facebook, it was this one, and let's have a little listen to the bit. The song which I heard was at 3:05 on this.
When this all got nothing, we got nothing left. When you go away, got big up today.
That's nice. What's this one?
That is nice. So what I do then is I go into Logic, and each person has different ways of doing it. Someone will just do all the drums first and then the bass, and I can't work like that. I need to have a bit of a more solid idea of what's going on. So I took his idea, which sounded really sort of Beach Boysy, which is what I think what sort of encouraged me, especially with the sun shining like it is today. Stay inside, people. So yeah, so what I did then is I worked out that it was in D, but when I first listened to it, it's like, you know what, I think I'm going to want to do a key change in it, so I'm going to drop it down to C, and you can already hear that it's quite high, and if we want to get a bit more energy in it, so I just dropped it down a tone to C, and then it was like, right, okay, let's have a listen to what tempo it should be. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, 148. Oh no, 150. I think it was in the end. And then what I do is like, right, okay. In this instance, I had a sort of intro in my mind. Now, some people will hear the chorus first, and in Duncan's mind, that might be a chorus, but to me it was a verse, so I stuck it in. So anyway, what I did first is like, right, okay, I'm after a sort of surfy type beat with a bass drum a little bit ahead of a beat. So what you'll see here is I've actually color coded the different sections just to make it easy to talk through. So I went through Superior Drummer. I think I've paid for this. And what you've got in here is you've got a groove section where you can go and kind of cut and paste some different grooves. And so I went to my rock ones, and I was going through them. Okay, well, let's have a listen to No, it's a bit too simple. I think I ended up on 16. So yeah, it's got that. Obviously, I could have moved a bass drum if I wanted to on any other one. So I've ended up with. So to me, that's a fine drum beat, knowing full well that if this turns into a big head song, then Karen will put her thing on it, and otherwise I'll it might end up in a different project. But these drums are never designed to stay here for a long time. If I really want to go to town on it, then I can start dropping in fills in, but that's fine. So then what I do is I tend to bring in double tracks of my guitars whenever I'm doing stuff. So the first one, I just, bearing in mind, I actually dropped his thing down a tone, so it's now in C. You can hear how pretty, it's very basic. No one's going to get excited about that. So now what I'll do is I normally just pick a slightly different voiced guitar and do it left and right. And then I'll always tend to have some sort of riff at the beginning. So I doubled up a little intro. Okay, so and then that's the intro, and so for me that actually sets the scene for the rest of the song. Now if this was one of my tunes, I'd put some bass in. It would be a very boring root note bass, but luckily we got the old man of power pop on our side on bass, so I'm going to leave this open for him to take. So then I knew I was going to kind of settle into a different groove, which is why I choose a different drum pattern where I close a hi-hat a little bit. So then we move on. So it's the same. I don't know why my system audio keeps tripping out. Okay, and then at this point, I with vocals, every single song that I approach, I don't have words. Words come at the very end for me, which some people can't understand. But I've always been a music guy rather than a lyrics guy. Rags will tell you I still don't know what he sings about, and we were playing for about 3 years together. So similar with Duncan. So I'd go la 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 la. So this is Duncan's idea. Although going la la la. Cool, and that's a verse. And then what I do, if I'm going to do a pre-chorus, I'm just jamming around on my guitar, and because I've been knocking this out quite quickly, and this is going to be a collaboration, I didn't labour on it too much. I hope that someone else, most likely Duncan, will have a better pre-chorus, but he might like it. So if we'll go into pre-chorus. You can hear I've brought in another octave. And, you know, although you can see some BVs coming later, I do that at the very end. This is all about getting the main structure of the song and an idea around the harmonic movement. So I'd already had a kind of idea. I was going to move back to the sort of intro chord sequence, but just playing on guitar again, working out what to do next. I've done something a little different.
Then I just I copy and paste my intro back here. And then I copy and pasted most like all guitars and drums, but I knew I wanted a bit of a lift coming in here in the vocals, so I did it fresh.
I've got no idea if you can hear what I'm saying. So just to recap, I've not used this software before. So I'm pointing, you can't even see what the hell I'm talking about. Right, so I got to the end of a chorus. I literally just went, right, for now, I'm going to return to the intro. So just copy and pasted it wholesale and brought it here. And then for this verse, I copy and pasted the guitars. I'll definitely go back and do some overdubs once we got a bit of a better idea how we're going to do this. Then I wanted a slightly different lift in the verse, hence why this is a slightly different color, just to show you guys that I recorded it separately. And then copy and pasted this back in for the pre-chorus, and then ending with a double chorus. So I mean, I'm not going to play it all, but
yeah, Duncan needs to change this. I think I've ripped that from one of my songs.
and you'll hear there's breaks in between sections. That's just because at this point I've really crudely just cut and pasted, and I wanted to colour it all slightly differently, so I had to make sure that I wasn't just neatly recording over stuff and then have different takes. Boring. So then it's like, right, cool, okay, Duncan's 5-second, 10-second idea got a bit more substance. Me and Duncan both love harmonies, and we harmonise very differently. He has this more haunted I laugh because I say it all sounds wrong, but it's just more clever than the stuff I do. But it's like, right, no, I've got an idea for harmonies. So what I'll just tend to do is I'll start layering it up, and I'm quite formulaic with how I do harmonies. I'll start on the lower registers, knowing that I'm going to pick up higher registers as I go through the song, and then quite often, you know, I'll do some counter melodies at the end. But it all depends on the song. It obviously doesn't take the same formula every time, but near as damn it. So I'll start bringing in some of these harmonies. And then you'll see all the harmonies. Yeah, we're not going to listen to all of that. Yeah, so I'll bring some of these in, because for me, the songwriting, I love double choruses at the end, and it'll scale up. So sort of halfway through the song, I bring in a second harmony. Then we'll come into the although the pre-chorus is a direct copy, it's gonna need to change up from the previous one. Quite often that'll be the drums opening up the hi-hats a bit more, maybe, and then definitely chuck another harmony on it, and sometimes there'll be a guitar overdub.
So it's probably something. Yeah, so it's just putting an octave on top of one of the lower harmonies, and it'll be low in a mix. So. Right. So we've got a low one. Oh, fuck.
Okay, so you're hearing stuff come in, and then I love ending stuff with a counter melody. So we've got this coming in the second part of a double chord. Cool, and then this is pretty much ready to send to Duncan, but I always, however crudely I do it, I go through and auto-tune my la la la, and so for instance what you'll hear, if I just mute off all the guitars.
What you will see here, everyone, is that I don't know how to use my computer. The idea is being there's some really, really important stuff to show you on the right and on the bottom. But because I've never used this software before, ever, for capturing screen stuff through the system audio, I got it wrong. So just trust me on this stuff, yeah? It's really cool.
If I just repeat this. You can hear that. I wasn't sure what to sing. So with the flex pitch on, I can just go and listen to it again. And well, that's shit as well. And the timing's all over the place, whatever. But I don't care because it's a demo. So who gives a shit? So yeah. So what I'll do is I'll bounce this down and I'll send it over to Duncan, and he can ruin it. No, hopefully he'll come with some ideas where we can feed back to you. In a nutshell, though, this is how I go about writing a fucking award-winning song. Can't say any awards, can you?